Okay, thanks for informing regarding that. So now what happens is now when you talk about the structured essay. So when you talk about the structured essay, what you need to understand is now when you talk about the structured essay, now you have two types of essays. One you have structured, other one is semi-structured. So when you talk about the structured is compulsory. You will have 4 structured questions which is to be written compulsorily on the paper. Don't try to take extra papers and write. I have seen some students, they have taken extra papers to write. So please manage your handwriting. Try to write it neatly and a bit smaller and try to manage to write the answers within that because they do not expect big answers from you. Very simple calculations, very simple answers they used to expect from the structured essay. Only in the semi-structured only, they ask you to get the extra paper since you have a lot to write there. Did you understand the difference? So in the structured essay, you have no choices. You have to select what? You have to select the you have no choices, so you don't want to select. So whatever the questions are given to you, you have to face. So that's how it is. So here we need to be very careful. What are the questions may come to our structured essay? So look at the question number 1. Some people are asking until what time the class will be. The class will be until the 6:30. Okay. Right. So let's talk about the question number 1. So whenever you talk about the question number 1, you need to understand the lesson biosphere. That means most of the time, your biology part will be coming at the beginning. You know very well, the biology will be coming at the beginning whenever you do the question number 1. One thing is, general knowledge should be there. So what kind of general knowledge? We know what is happening in the world, the diseases, then they can talk about the system, they can even talk about the things that is related to that, and even biosphere lesson is included in that. So every year this is going to be fixed and this is same, right? Go to the question number 2. When you talk about the question number 2 also, that is also biology. Now see, some people loves biology, some people likes biology. Now think, each set of structured essay, I'll talk about the percentage. Each part of the structured essay. Now, when you talk about biology, some people love biology, right? Now, each part of the structured essay is starting with the biology. Sometimes you will feel happy, you will feel okay, now the paper is going to be easy. So you have to make your mind set, right? Now let's talk about the biology, first competency. Now look at the question number 2. Again, the biology is coming. What are the lessons can come? Lesson photosynthesis, classification of animals. You know what are the classifications of animals we learn? No, the world of life, vertebrates, invertebrates. It's about, you have to study about the plants. Well, yes, the continuity of life, sexual and asexual reproduction, and organelles. Now I have given you 4 lessons to study there. At least 2 lessons can combine together and you can get 2 lessons can combine. Any 2 of the lessons out of 4 can combine and you can get a question, right? Question number 3. When you go to the question number 3, it starts with chemistry. So in the chemistry, what can be the lessons you can get? Most of the time, structure of the matter can come. That means about the periodic table, first ionization. It's about you will be receiving electronegativity, chemical formula. So these things can be you will be receiving. Yes, Zaina, it's like an analysis. I have given you like a planning. The next thing is what? Chemical bonds. So chemical bonds, you know, ionic and covalent bond. And you need to find how to do the Lewis structure. What are the ionic bonds? How to find the difference. Always remember structure of matter and chemical bonds are both of them. Both these lessons are very important for your O-level. So these lessons can combine together and you can get a question like that. And apart from that, hydrocarbons and their derivatives, these are very easiest lessons. So this is from your grade 11, right? Right. Now next. Now this is the way of coming. This is how you get the questions. This is how. By analyzing all your 10 years of your paper from 2016 to now, when I analyzed, I saw frequently this is your structure. This is your structure. Now last year batch also I gave the same way. I told them follow these ways and all. The people who was in W even scored B. It's like that because they focus. Now there are people say I can't study all 4 books because all 4 means what? You have part 1, part 2, grade 10, part 1, part 2, grade 11. It's impossible. But if I can give you the lessons you can study for your exams to improve your grade, why can't you? You can give an idea. You can get an idea. You can even do well. That's how I gave to the students. They scored. I have the results. I can show you. So those people have scored well because some students they get stressed when they think they have to study 32 lessons. But if I say no, you have to study only these lessons, then what you will feel easy and you will be keep working. Did you understand? No idea. I have to see what happened because maybe due to the power cut. Now in my area also there is a power cut. So still I'm conducting because I don't know at what time I will be losing the network. So I don't know what happened. Again, the monkey jump, or I don't know what happened. So yes, it is power cut right now. Maybe my computer isn't working. So I'll check. I have told the admin to check from their side. If not, I will provide the recording. Okay. I'm sorry regarding that situation. Right. So until 6:30, we will be moving. So Sarah is asking, only these lessons should we study, or is there any possibility of coming any questions from another lessons? So now listen, dear. I have given you these things. No, these lessons will come. But when you go to the semi-structured, you will identify, okay, teacher has given us to complete the syllabus only. You will understand. Just wait and watch. Listen. Now listen. Now when you go to the competency question number 3, second competency is your chemistry. Chemistry is completely done. Now question number 4. Now this is something like every year pattern. If you know the pattern, you will be more confident. There are students who take A+. No, those people knows the pattern of the paper. So that's the reason they do not give much stress about the science. They do not give much stress about the mathematics. Why? There is a pattern. There is a hidden pattern. So these patterns I received from one of my friend who is working at the education publication department. She told this is how the pattern will go, but she didn't tell me exactly. Like she told these are the things will be working and this is how it will be moving. So what did I do is I just took a piece of paper, I took and I wrote it, I analyzed it, I created one of them. So this has been successfully working for our past students also. So this also will be helping for you to manage your time. Okay, so this is something I am giving you to manage your time. Right. Look at the question number 4. When you look at the question number 4, third competency, the physics. So when you look at the physics, most of our students, they think physics is hard. As for me, physics is easy because you don't have anything to by heart except you need to know the formula. So if you know the formula, you can do it. So lesson number, chapter 11, grade 10, turning effect of a force, then equilibrium of force. So equilibrium of forces, grade 10, these 2 lessons can come together. Most of the time, I have seen even your term papers, even your O-levels, these physics, both of these lessons comes together like a couples. It used to come as a couple every time because those 2 lessons are connected. They are connected. Okay, the next one is motion in a straight line. Motion in a straight line lesson is about, mostly about graph. Displacement versus time graph. Then you will have so many graphs to go on. Not only graphs, by looking at the graphs, you have to find the acceleration, you have to find the distance, displacement, so on you have. But it is very rare to get this question. Motion in a straight line, in your term papers only most of the time you get it. But in all levels, when I see, it was very rare to see this kind of questions because they give more focus on the other physics lesson, right? Chapter 4, waves. So when you talk about the chapter 4, it's about the waves, grade 11, you can get it, right? So let's talk about our semi-structured essay. So when you talk about the semi-structured essay, There are 5 semi-structured essay. Out of 5, you have to select 3. Now listen, I'll tell you something secret. Go prepared. Go prepared. Like you are going to think, okay, I am going to do this 3 competency completely. Think like that. Out of 5, you are going to select 3 and you know what are the things that will come. So you are already prepared, right? So when you're already prepared, you can do well. Listen, what I'm going to tell. Question number 5 is there, right? Always it comes like a biology. You love to study about system, no? A digestive system, respiratory system, expiratory system, lymphatic system. You are studying about your body. So when you are studying about your body, what do you need to understand? You need to understand about what? Now think. Now whenever you talk about the systems, whenever you are talking about the system, what do you need to understand? Now see, now when you're talking about the system, let's say digestive system is always connected to the excretory system. Always it comes like that. Not only one system comes. In the question number 5, remember, only one system doesn't come. 3 systems or 2 systems get connected. Now think about connection. Excretory system will get connected to the digestive system. Sometimes digestive system can be connected to your respiratory system. So you need to understand the connection. If you understand the connections, you can answer. Clear with that? And then the lesson inheritance can come. So inheritance, most of the time, you have to plot the chart. You have to know what are the recessive factor. Then you have to dominant factor. You have to know about the diseases related to the inheritance. So these questions can be asked, and some people say this lesson is hard, but I don't think so. It's hard. It's easy. It's easy means they do not ask much question related to the inheritance, but it will be like solid questions will be there, right? Let's go to the question number 6. It's about chemistry. I could see some people are texting me since the YouTube isn't working. I will see what has happened, because now let's do this and we'll continue, because I don't want to distract you as well. So those who have missed, I can give the recording for them. But I am very sorry for them. But what to do? Power cut, no, can't do anything. Right. Now let's talk about the chemistry. So when you're talking about the chemistry, you know what? I'll tell you at the end of this paper, I'll tell you something. Now listen to the chemistry. Guys, if you're studying chemistry, study the structure of matter thoroughly. Study the chapter 16 thoroughly. So when you study these lessons thoroughly, you will get an idea, because these lessons are connected to our other lessons. Structure of matter lesson is connected to the mixture lesson. Mixture lesson is connected to the chemical bonds. Chemical bond is connected to everything. I'll talk about the electronics. Remember, electronic lesson will be there this year. You will have the electronic lesson this year, right? Okay, it's Azan, it's him. Just give me about 3 to 4 minutes, guys. The break will be given from 2 to 2:30. Okay. Okay, some places it's Azan as well as here also. Right. Okay, let's get continued. Right. So now what you need to understand is that is about the question number 6, acids and bases. Safi, I'll update you, okay? So acids and bases. So when you talk about acids and bases and mixtures, so then these lessons are going to be very important. Acids and bases are very easy for you because since you need to know what is strong acid and weak acid, what is strong base and weak bases, and neutralization and examples and some chemical formulas which should be balanced chemical formulas. You should know the balance, right? The next one is about yes, heat changes associated with chemical reaction. It's about exothermic reaction, endothermic reaction. You have to study how to draw the graphs. In that only that part will be very important for you. The next one is changes in matter. So changes in matter, it's about you have to study about production of iron, types of chemical reaction, and how hydrogen gas, oxygen gas, and carbon dioxide is being produced. So these things you have to study under the chemistry. And question number 7. Question number 7, what you have to learn is it's about physics. So when you talk about physics, you have to study about geometrical optics. It's about lenses. It's about how you have to draw. It's full of drawing and you have to understand. Then lesson heat. So you have to study about the lesson heat. It's very, very important lesson in physics. It's all about calculations. You have so many things to be learned under that. And then electrical appliances, you have to study the grade 11, which is chapter 10. You have to study about electrical appliances. Remember, if the now this year, you won't get electrical appliances in grade. Yeah, so in this year, grade 11 electrical appliances you won't be receiving. You will get electronics this year. So I even checked with other teachers, some government teachers, they told instead of the electrical appliance lesson, which you are going to calculate the power, energy, all of them, apart from that, you will be having the lesson electronics, which is going to be the lesson 11 of your grade 11 syllabus. So this will be there instead of your electrical appliances. You know, past years, if this year electrical appliances come, next year electronics. If the other year comes electrical appliances, the other year will be electronics. It will be like exchange. That's the pattern, okay? So if you know the pattern, you can work on. So can you put a slash now if you have printed or if you are writing it your book, put a star mark under that and write electronics lesson will be coming this year. So electronic lessons will be there instead of electrical appliances. So remember that lesson also will be there. Will there be any calculations in electronics? In the electronic lesson, you don't have calculations, but you need to understand how power is working. Like say, for example, they will be asking about how the light is working, and you have to talk about the semiconductors and conductors and how the light is made up of, and you have to study like so on about how the electricity is working. So that's about electronics, how the devices are working, and all of them you will be learning, right? Okay, so the next one is electrical current. How you have to study about the electrical current. It's about your chapter 19 of your grade 10. So mostly about the series connection, about the circuit, you will be facing those questions. Okay, right. Then question 8. Look at the question 8. Look at the mixture of your competency. First competency and third competency is being combined. That means your biology and physics is combined. Clear with that? So biology and physics will be combined. So therefore, classification of organism. Again, the world of life lesson comes. It can be. Now, if you get the classification of organisms in the structured essay, you won't get that lesson in your semi-structured. So you have to get prepared for both, right? So now what are you getting there? Classification of organisms, inheritance. So you have to make sure lesson inheritance can come. Then physics, hydrostatic pressure. electrical appliances. Again, you will face them. So from chapter 11 in grade 11, electronics. I already told, no? Electronics will be there. If the electrical appliances, that means if your chapter 10 of your grade 11 comes 2023 students batch, then 2024 students will get the electronics. Then the 2025 students will again face the electrical questions, not electronics. So you need to understand the difference. One year this lesson means other year the other lesson. It comes like that. It's a pattern of your paper. So you need to understand the pattern, right? Okay, now listen. Question number 9. So question number 9, second and third competency. Maybe Muhammad, you will get electrochemistry. I have already mentioned, no? So second and third competency, chemistry and physics. So mixture, electrochemistry, electromagnetism, geometric optics. Again, once again, you are getting. So now what do you need to understand here? You have to focus on certain lessons that you have to do it. Now, electrochemistry is very important, guys. You need to know, because electrochemistry lesson can come in your question number 9. So it is according to you. It's up to you to select. See, you have got so many options. You can even go with full of biology. You can even go with full of physics. You can even go with physics and chemistry together. Like that you can go. You can create your own planning. So now I have given you the plan. You have to focus on what you have. Now see, which competency is mostly used here? Biology 1, then 2, 3. 3 times biology is there. Is this the exact structure of our paper? Yes. I took it from your government syllabus. It's there in your government booklets. It was there. In the teacher's guide, it was there. So I have to extract few points and I have to take it and then I have to show you. Most of the time teachers doesn't show you this is how the paper comes, no? So then you don't have any ideas. So since that I have given you an idea, I have given you the plan to your hand, so you can do it. How many chemistry is there? How many chemistry is there? 1, 2. 1, 2, 3 chemistry is there. 3 chemistry, 3 biology, 3 chemistry. How many physics? 1 from this side. Then 2, 3, 4. Okay, I missed one biology also. Listen, you have 4 chemistry questions and you have 4 physics questions. That means where you have to focus more, biology and physics. So biology and physics you have to focus more if you want to get a B. If you want to get a B, you have to focus on biology and physics. If you want to get an A, you have to focus on biology, physics, and little amount of chemistry. That's how the students get 75. If you want to get more than 75, then you have to focus all 3 competency well. So now some people asking me, if I only focus on biology, will I get a pass? Of course, you will get a pass. I mean, you will get more than S. But I'm not sure that you will back onto the C, because at least you need some other competency support to go to the C. Then to the B, you have to do it thoroughly. Then to go A, focus on all 3 competency well. Clear with that? Got the idea? Understood? Right. Some people are asking me, right. Miss, can we get B without studying chemistry? Of course you can get. You can. I'm not demotivating you. I'm not telling you. But some people asking me, but always guys, try for an A. At least you will get for B. If you focus for B, you will go for C. So that's how. Always score high. Always dream high. At least you will get something closer to that. So what is my opinion is, give your best. Focus best. Do your best. Think you can do. Focus more. Keep doing. You can do. And I think I have made something easy for you. Isn't it? Did you feel a bit easy? Not late. 34 days is not, it's not enough for you. I mean, like, I won't tell you it's not enough for you. It's quite enough for you to complete all your syllabus within 34 days. You can do it. But guys, if you're studying, study early in the morning because your mind will get refreshed. Don't Don't be a night owl. Don't study late night, because when you sleep and when you wake up, your whole day will be finished. Why? You sleep late night. When you wake up, sometimes you may wake up at 12, you may wake up at 2 o'clock. Why? You're so much sleepy. But if you sleep on time and wake up earlier, you can manage your whole day. You have more time. You feel you have more time. So that's how you have to work on. Clear with that? Got the idea? You can, Safia, you can try. There is nothing in the world that you can't. You can do it. So there are students within, like, maybe they have got the seriousness of the exam and within 3 weeks they have learned and they have got 9A. There are students like that. I'm not telling you to take 9A or anything. Just do what you love to do. Take interest, love something and you do it. So that's how you will be able to do it, right? Yes. Inshallah. Okay. So those who have done, already have studied, keep focusing on the planning here. Those who are going to start right now, it's okay. It's not too late. You can do it. Keep working. Okay? Right. So is there any doubt? Is there any doubt? Now, from now, how many hours we have to study? That means until 6:30 we have the class. I don't know whether you are asking about the class right now today. So that is how we will be moving on. Right. Or you're asking from today to the O-level day? I didn't count it. The countdown is over. I could not remember. If anyone knows the countdown, just let me know. I can inform. From today to your O-level day, what's the deadline? What is the time countdown? How many days left? Okay, so they say 34 days. Competency means biology, physics, chemistry. Biology, physics, chemistry only we call it as competency. Clear? Okay, so Rushdi has sent me 34 days, 19 hours, 19 minutes, 13 seconds. Guys, if you think like this, you will feel like your dead day is going to come. That means your funeral is going to come like that. So make sure you just forget about these countdowns. Forget about the timings. Just work on, you can do it. Okay? Right. Okay. So I hope that is easy and you can work on that. All the very best you can work on. Right. For a day, how many hours should we work for O level? I will not tell you how many hours, but I can recommend you to do your studies between like early in the morning until 8 o'clock evening. If you start, let's say, imagine you have started your studies at the 4 o'clock early in the morning, and then you end it up by 8, eat and do all your stuff and sleep by 9. You can manage your studies as well as try to take break. Without break, you can't study, you can't focus your brain. Your brain will say, no, I can't take this into your brain. Like, you have to give some time to brain to understand. And always remember, whenever you are studying something, try to connect it with your life and you study. Easy. That's how it is. Everything is connected to our life. So if you think like that, you can do it. Anyways, yes. So I hope you have got an idea regarding that. Right, now we have to come to the calculations. So paper 1, 40 MCQs, 2 marks each, 80 marks together. Paper 2, part A and part E. So part A, 4 questions into 15 plus 3 questions, 20. 120 plus 80, totally 200 is getting divided into 100 marks. So as you see there, totally you can't score 200, but you can score 150 marks in order to get an A. So 50 marks is free of charge. Like, what do you say? You're not going to focus on the 50. 150 you're going to focus. So think it's easy for you to do. 200 means some people feel hard, but just do it for 150 to get an A. You can do it. Okay. At least 151. Don't be at the border. 151, 155. Somewhere, some around you can do it. Are you ready with that? Right. Okay, so we have to see what are the lessons that comes under our physics. In grade 10, we have motion in a straight line. And then we have Newton's law of motion, frictional force, resultant force, turning effect of a force, equilibrium of forces, hydrostatic pressure, work, energy, power, current, electricity. Now under that, in front of every lesson, if I have mentioned important means, you have to study that thoroughly. So motion in a straight line is important because sometimes you may get graphs there. And remember guys, Newton's law of motion and then frictional force, these two are like couples. There is no Newton's of motion, Newton's law of motion without frictional force. There is no frictional force without this laws of Newton. So remember, these two comes as a couple, and don't think, okay, the lesson is easy, the question will be easy. No. If the lesson is easy, remember, the question will be little logic. If the lesson is hard, the questions will be easy. This is the logic of our world. So remember, our paper, if you see, if a lesson seems to be easy to study, the questions will be little logic. Yes, I will send the recording. Okay? Clear with that? Right. So now what you need to understand is, let's not scribble on the screen. It would be nice if we don't do that. Right. Okay. So now what you need to understand is, when you talk about this lesson, can you see I have given important things to be studied and the important lessons? Motion in a straight line, linear motion equation, equations of speed, velocity, acceleration, displacement, time graph, gravitational acceleration. And then I have given few lessons. What are the things to be studied under that? And then waves. What are the things you have to study at the grade level? Waves, geometrical optics, heat, electromagnetism, power, energy of electrical appliances. So we have around 40 lessons in physics. Okay, right. I know few schools, they have exams. Okay, so we'll see. Yeah. There are exams to be faced, third term government school mostly. I think all the students have to face, isn't it? I know some school are going private schools, some are going government. So government schools, they have to work for their third term. I think it's like a final term for their practicals and all, I think. And then for the private students, from today they will get the holidays. Okay, right. So now what are the things we have to learn today? What are the things we have to learn today is, we will be learning, is it okay if I break the session and do? Because I know you can't focus everything today at once. But as a compliment, I'm gonna break this session and I'm gonna do it for you all. As I know, most of the students are requesting me, okay, teachers, teach everything. So yeah, I will do it. So what I'm going to do is, today we will be studying about motion in a straight line. I told you I will be focusing on easiest lesson first, hardest lesson later. So Newton's law of motion, frictional force, resultant force is connected with all the questions. So you need to know the resultant force. I think it's the easiest lesson. And then question number 5, question number 6. Then the hydrostatic pressure is little complicated lesson. I mean, complicated means it's a biggest lesson. So I will be doing that later. I'll be rescheduling it another day. And power, work, energy, for now we will be learning. Then after we learn all of this, we will do few questions. After we do few questions, we will come to the grade level. Okay? Ready now? You can do, right? Okay. So I'm not going to make any lessons hard. I'm going to make everything easy. Whatever the things that comes to your exam, I will make it easy for you. Right. So let's get started. Any doubts until there? Yeah, we will be doing past paper questions. I gave you a tute, no? In that tute, you have your past paper questions. Okay? Not only past paper questions. Your O-level target questions also there. That means I didn't take it from your past paper. I have taken from a different paper. It is written by one examiner. It is written by one examiner. So I have collected few good questions for you all to answer. Right? Yeah, I know the screen won't be clear because I'm not sharing through my laptop, right? I'm sharing it through my phone. So I told you it's power cut. So since that, you will have things to be done. Right? Okay. Okay, so let's get into the class. Will you make a paper in the structure like target paper and give us? You want me to give a target paper? You want me to give the target paper related to that? Okay, I'll give. Okay, I'll give. But you have to give me some time, okay? You have to give me like, yeah. So you have to give me like 4 or 5 days. I can make a structure paper. I mean, like similar to this, I can give you with the answer script. Without answer script, I can't give you, right? Without answer script, I can't give. So I have to give you with the answer script. Without answer script, then again, you all will text me and ask me what can be the answers, right? So anyways, let's go to the paper. Okay, right. I think so. Is it too bright? Because since it's power cut, I have to come to the place where it is bright and light. Okay. I probably live in Colombo. Some areas in Colombo is power cut. Okay. So let me pin. Okay. So what we have to learn today is starting itself. We have to study. How many of you are having problem with the graph? I mean, in the first chapter of our physics, motion in a straight line. In a motion in a straight line, how many of you are having problem? Okay. Now many people having problem. Now I'm gonna solve your problem. Okay. Now listen to me. Okay, listen to me. I'm gonna solve your problem, and you are going to understand everything clearly. And later you have to give a try. Okay. Give a try. Without trying, you can't. Okay. Now listen. Now in this lesson, you need to know what is distance. Now all of us know what is distance. Distance means a path which an object is traveling. Now we know which object is traveling means a path which object travels. We call it as what? Distance. So now distance means we consider that as a long path. We consider that as a long path. And the opposite to the distance, we usually say shortcut. No? Can you remember? We say shortcut. I will provide the tune. Yeah, I will do the tune. Don't worry. We have to study. After we study only we can do the tune. Without studying, can we do the tune? It will be hard. So always remember, whenever we do the past paper questions, when you know the lesson, no, you can do the past paper. Some people say, do the past paper, do the past paper. If they say do the past paper without knowing the lesson, how can you do? However, you should know the lesson. So that's how you have to learn. Okay. Let me explain you. Listen. Now, when you talk about this lesson, now when you talk about distance, we know I'm not going very deep because since some parts are not that really important. Some parts are not that really important. So because of that, I will be focusing important points in this lesson. So therefore, your next questions will be very easy. Listen. Now, when you talk about distance, we know distance means what? A path which an object travels. That means a path which object travels, we call it as what? Distance. That means usually we think that is a long path. And then we always call it as shortcut or short route. So whenever we say a shortcut or short route in another term, we call it as displacement. So whenever we call displacement, always remember in the displacement, we always mention the starting point. We always mention the starting point as well as we mention the ending point. The distance between the starting point and the ending point, we call that as what? Displacement. So now we need to understand what is the difference and similarity between the distance and the displacement, right? So the first similarity between the distance and the displacement is both of these quantities are measured by what? Meters. It is measured by what? Meters. So whenever we talk about these quantities, they are measured by meters. Then when we talk about the distance and the displacement, so now when you talk about distance and the displacement, now say for example, we have two types of quantities to learn. One, we call it as what? Vector quantity. Other one, we call it as scalar quantity. One you call it as vector quantity. Other one you call it as scalar quantity. Listen to me. Vector quantity means they have a magnitude. That means they have a value. They have a magnitude. Vector quantity also have a magnitude. So magnitude means they have a value. They have a value. Scalar quantity, they do not have a direction. I'll explain you what kind of a direction is that. And then vector quantity, they do have both direction and a magnitude. So they have both. Now what is the direction? We already know. We have studied. We call this as north. We call this as south. We call this as east, and this is west. Now, some people asking me what is magnitude. Magnitude means, let's say, for example, Umar travels 100 meter away from his house. Now, what is the value of his distance? That is 100 meter. So that 100 meter only, we call that as magnitude. Magnitude means value. We call it as value. So magnitude, we call it as value. Now listen. Now when you talk about the direction, so we have subdirections also. We call this as northeast. We call this as northwest. And then we call this as southwest. This is southeast. So these are the directions we have. Right. Now listen. Now we have already the directions. I'm going to plot both the distance and the displacement in one graph. Now listen. Now say for example, let me erase this out. And let me say, there's a boy. Okay, so this boy is going to move from point A to point B. To go from point A to point B, he is taking two paths. That means he is taking two paths. So path 1 and path 2. So let's say this is path 1. And let's say this is going to be the path 2. Path 2. So when I take the path 1, that's 150 meter. The path 2 is 50 meter. Now I told you distance means we call it as the longer path. The displacement means the shortcut or the short route. The distance between the shortest distance between the starting point and the ending point. We call that as what? Displacement. Remember, they will not ask you any definitions of distance or displacement. Just understand what is it about, right? Okay, now listen. Now what has happened? Here 50 meter, here 150 meter they have given you, right? Now they can ask you, the path 1 indicates distance. Path 1 indicates distance. Path 2 indicates displacement. Okay. Now you will need to understand the distance and the displacement. Are they a vector quantity or a scalar quantity? Now say for example, the boy is moving in the path 1. What is the direction the boy is moving? It is in this path. Let me draw again. Okay, he's moving in this particular direction. Northeast, very good. He's moving northeast. Now say the boy is coming to this particular path. What is his direction? What is his direction? Very good. He's towards the east. He's towards the east. Again, he's coming down. Then he's towards the southeast. Again, he's coming like that, moving on. And then when you look into the path 1, does this boy have a fixed direction? Does he have a fixed direction? Is he moving in a fixed direction? No. When a person or whatever the object doesn't move in a fixed direction, that means we say they do not have a direction because they're changing the direction. No. So when they are changing the direction, you need to understand that there will be no direction. Fixed directions only we call it as dice direction. So that means they do not have a fixed direction. So that's what we call the distance as a scalar quantity. We call the distance as what? Scalar quantity. Now let's talk about vector quantity. When you talk about vector quantity, now let's talk about the displacement. Now see, the boy is moving from this point to this point. All the time he's moving at the same direction towards the east, which means, does this boy is changing the direction time to time? No, he's not changing the direction time to time. So therefore he's having a fixed direction. This we call it as what? Vector quantity. So the displacement, we call it as vector quantity. So now did you understand the difference between the scalar quantity and the vector quantity? Yes? Yes? Okay. Now, by using the distance and the displacement, no, I explained you what is scalar quantity and vector quantity. Shall we come to the real life? Let's talk about the real life and let's see whether they are, magnitude means value, dear. Value. What is the value of the, now think about, now say, this is 150 meter, no. Does the distance has a magnitude? Yes. Did it have a direction? No. So that's what the distance is called as a scalar. Now look at the displacement. Did the displacement had a value? Yes, that value only we call it as magnitude, 50 meter. Do they have a direction? Do they have a direction? Do they have a direction? Yes, they do even have a direction. So that's what we call them as what? Scalar quantity. So the displacement, we call it as what? Scalar quantity. Right. Give me a second. Okay, right. Now let's talk about real life related to the scalar quantity and vector quantity. Now let's take two examples. Let's say example number 1. There is a boy who is pulling cart. He is pulling cart. He is pulling. Yes, vector quantity comes under displacement. I mean, like, displacement is a vector quantity. He is pulling cart towards this direction. Example number 2, you have the clock. Example number 2, you have the clock. 12, 6, 9, 3. Now the clock is striking towards the 12. Sometimes the clock will strike towards the 3. It will strike towards the 6 and 9. Now see. Now say the boy is pulling the cart. Let's imagine he's pulling something at the force of 5 Newton. He's giving a force of 5 Newton. Now I'll ask one question. Whenever I said you 5 Newton and all, 5 Newton, here the time 12, 3, 9, 6. These values, we call these as what? Magnitude. We call these as magnitude. In the situation 1, you have the magnitude. In the situation 2 also, you have the magnitude. My question here is, in which situation there is a fixed direction? In which situation there is a fixed direction? Very good. Others? In which situation you have a fixed direction? Fixed direction. Very good. In the situation 1, see, the boy is only pulling the cart towards this side. That means how many directions did you see? You saw only one direction, that is towards where? Towards the west. He is pulling towards the west. But when you talk about the clock gives you what? Time. Can you see will it only strike towards the 12? No, it will strike towards the 12, 3, 6, 9. That means throughout the day, it will strike towards all the values. That means, do they have a fixed direction? Does the time has a fixed direction? No. So that means in the situation 1, they do have a direction. But in the situation 2, they do not have a fixed direction. So that means situation 1 is about force. So force is a scalar quantity or a vector quantity. It's about the scalar quantity or a vector quantity. Magnitude is there, direction is there. Very good. So it is a vector quantity. When you talk about the second one, think about the second one. What do you need to understand? Very good. It's a scalar quantity. Why is it is a scalar quantity? Time comes under scalar quantity. Why? Because they have a magnitude. What is that magnitude? 12, 3, 6, 9, 1, 2, 3. All of these comes under magnitude. But do they have a fixed direction? No fixed direction. Clear with that? Understood that? Got the idea? Okay, right. Now we have got idea regarding the scalar quantity and the vector quantity. Now, graph. How to draw the graph? Displacement time graph. So usually in your exams, they will ask you to draw the displacement versus time graph. They will ask you to draw what? Displacement versus time graph. To draw the displacement versus time graph, they will always give you like kind of a chart. They will give you a kind of chart. Now I'll tell you how this chart is created. Okay, I'll tell you how this chart is created. Later you will feel easy. Right, now listen. So when you talk about the chart, let me explain you about the chart. Now say for example, a boy is moving from say a point A to B. A boy is moving from A to B. Let's say he's taking 10 seconds. The value for A to B is 100 meters. The boy is taking 10 seconds and then he's moving 100 meters. Again, he's moving forward to the point B. Now, let's say this is home and let's say this is school and then he's going to the shop. Think like that. So now say, for example, the boy is moving from home to school within 10 seconds like a jet, 100 meters. Just to make sure that your values are easy to calculate, I'm just giving these values, okay?
Okay. Now then, say for example, again the boy is going another 10 seconds, 50 meter from school to shop. And he is waiting at the shop for about again 10 seconds. No value, but he is waiting another 10 seconds at the shop. Now he has to return back. No. Again, when he is returning back, this comes as a point D. He is coming back to the shop, from the shop to the school. Again 10 seconds, 50 meters, same value. Because when you are returning back, you can't tell the value is increasing. No, the same distance will be there. Then again, from D, coming back to the home, from D, okay. So now what happens is from D to the E, you are coming back to the home. Again 10 seconds, again 100 meter. Okay, now this is the story. What happened? One day, one boy went from home to school, school to shop, and he returned back to the school. Again, he came back to home. Right? Okay. Now, how to draw the chart? Sometimes, now in exam, most of the times they give you the chart. Not like this. They do not give a story to create a chart, but the chart will be already given. But I'm teaching you from the scratch. Like from the beginning, I'm going to teach you an easiest way to understand. Now see, if you want to draw the chart, now usually how the chart will be? Always time will be there. Always distance will be there. Distance will be there. And then displacement will be there. And remember, the symbol for the displacement is capital S. The symbol for the displacement in science is capital S. Okay. Usually the capital S is not mentioned in your textbook, but in your previous syllabus, I mean, like when we was doing, no, not we also. It was like when our parents were doing our O levels and all, those times we told that the displacement symbol was S. Before 2016, the symbol for the displacement they have given in the syllabus as S, capital S. Right. So now what happens? You have to draw this out. Okay, now this is how they will give. Now always remember, the person will be starting from what? Now he is at the A. Is there any values? Did he move anywhere? Now he is at the A means what can be the value? The value of time, distance, displacement, everything will be 0. At the beginning itself, remember, you have to start from 0. Right. Now what is happening? From 0. Now, when you go from 0 and then when you are moving to the B, from A to the B, what is the time? That is 10 seconds. At the 10 second, what is the distance? What is the distance? 100 meter. Okay, listen. This is 100, huh? From A to B, 100 meter distance. Okay. Now, remember, I'll tell you one secret. Distance and the displacement will be equal when they are moving in a straight line. Okay. When they are moving in a straight line, distance and the displacement will be equal. But whenever you are moving, whenever you are returning back, the displacement will be changing. Whenever you are returning back, the displacement will be changing. I'll tell you why. Now, distance and the displacement. Now, say for example, he's moving from home to the school is 100 meter. Now, again from school to the shop is again 50 meter. Now, without going to the shop, what will be his displacement? Without going to the shop, what will be his displacement? 100. No, I'll tell you how to find the displacement. Now listen. Now what is the displacement? I told you when they are going straight, when they are moving straight until the shop, the displacement will be same. The displacement will be same. So same like distance, displacement also will be same. Now what will be the other 10 seconds? Always the other 10 seconds will get added. 20th second, 100 plus 50, 150. Again 100 plus 50, 150. Displacement. Now there is no value, but he was there at the C for about another 10 seconds. Did he move from the C? 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 No. So that means again 30 seconds, 150, 150. Okay. Now what is happening? In other 10 seconds, 40th second, he is coming back. When he is coming back, listen to me. What is the, now when you talk about the displacement, what is the definition for displacement? Shortest part between the starting point to the ending point. No, in this position, you have to consider the You have to consider the definition. Right. Now listen. Now 40th second. What is the distance? 100 plus 50 plus 50. How much? 200. It is going to be what? 200. Okay. Now when it comes to 200, now what is the displacement? What is the starting point? A is the starting point. What is the ending point? D. From, if you put some dots from D to the B, that means D. And if you look at the other side, what will be the displacement? He's coming back? No. Remember, when they're returning back, the displacement will be decreasing. So what will be the displacement? That will be 100. Listen. The displacement will be 100. Now what is happening? Again at the 50th second, he is coming back to the E. When he come back to the E, when he come back to the starting point, what will be the displacement? Very good. That will be what? 0. That will be 0. I will explain you the graph again. And 300 is your distance. Now listen. I'll tell you. Listen to me. Now, whenever you talk about displacement, when he is moving forward, displacement will increase. When he is returning back, the displacement will be decreasing. That is one trick for you. What is the trick I told you? Whenever you are moving forward, displacement will be increasing. Whenever you are returning back, displacement will be decreasing. So that means the speed that he went forward will come back in reverse, the speed that he came. Now he started from 0, no? Then he has to end with the 0, like that. So you start with 0, went 100, then 50, then again he will come back to the 50, like that only it will comes. So you need to understand the displacement. How do you understand the displacement? From A to B, distance and the displacement will be same. Why? Both of them are in a straight line. Here also, distance and the displacement will be same. But when you returning back, distance and the displacement will be different. Distance will be getting added. Remember, distance will be getting added, but the displacement will be right. What is your starting point? What is your ending point? What is the value that shows in the opposite side will be your displacement. Again, look here. When I come to E, what is your starting point? A. What is your ending point? E. Okay. So, when you look from the other side, look at the opposite from the E. Do you have any value after E? Do you have any value after E? No, that is 0. So, that is how you have to remember. So, just understand, when you go straight, displacement increases. When you return back, the displacement decreases. But remember, in your exam, they do not ask you to draw a chart. They do not ask you to draw a chart. Without asking you to draw the chart only, you have to move on. But now here, by using that chart, we have to draw the graph. Let me explain you how to draw the graph. Before that, I'll redraw the chart over here. They will not ask you to draw the chart. Already the chart will be given in your exam. So don't worry. Don't worry. Don't think of drawing the chart because they will never give you to draw chart. Only the graph has to be drawn. Okay. Right. Distance. Displacement. So initially everything was 0. And then 10, you had 100. And then here you had 100. Then again you had 20, 150, 150. 30, you had the 150 here, 150. 40, you had 200. Here you had 100. Look at the pattern. Look at the pattern. You will have a pattern. 50, 300, and then 0. Starting 0, ending 0. 100, 100. 50, 50. It's like a pattern. Okay. Now look here. When you talk about the displacement from 0 to 150, displacement is increasing or decreasing? Displacement is increasing or decreasing? 0 to 150. Very good. Displacement is increasing. I'm teaching you how to draw the graph. So before you do the graph, do like me. From 0 to 150, displacement is increasing. From 150 to, now think about 150 to 150. 150 to 150. Is the displacement is changing? Is the displacement is changing? No. From 150 to 0, what is happening to the displacement? The displacement is decreasing. Now, how many points did I identify from this? 3 points. I found 3 points from this. Now, listen. Whenever the displacement is increasing, The bar is moving forward. Remember, whenever something is increasing, now say whenever they say the displacement is increasing, you need to understand the bar is moving forward. Whenever they say the displacement is not changing, that person is at rest. He's standing, not moving, not in a motion. From 150 to 0, that means the displacement is decreasing. So when the displacement is decreasing, you need to understand that person is returning back. That person is what? Returning back. So displacement versus time graph is based on these three factors: moving forward, at rest, returning back. That means increasing displacement, not changing, and returning. Okay, let's draw the graph. Let's draw the graph. Very simple and easy. Now listen. What is this axis? Y-axis. This is x-axis. So when you talk about the y-axis, always the first word comes as a y-axis. The last word comes as a x-axis. So which means the displacement. Always remember, whenever you're marking the graph, if you are writing the displacement word and if you are putting the symbol of measuring symbol and then here time and then seconds, you are getting 1 mark. Though you don't know to draw the graph, and if you just mark this graph important things, you get 1 mark. So why do you want to waste this 1 mark? Some people, they do not even mention these things. They will directly draw that. Okay. Okay. Sorry, displacement is meter. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Displacement is meter. I was in hurry. Right. Okay. So displacement in meter. Right. Now, what is the highest displacement that person have traveled out of this? What is the highest displacement that person has traveled out of this? Very good. 150. Just mark 150 like that. Okay. What are the time intervals? What are the increasing point from 0 to 20 seconds? That person is increasing. So I'm going to mark here. This is going to be 0, 20. From 20 to 30, that person is not moving. So I'm going to mark here 20 to 30. From 30 to 50, he is decreasing. So that's the reason I told you to mark increasing, decreasing, and not changing, because we are going to use only 3 values for the timing just to make sure to save our time. So now simple. We don't want to mark the 10. We don't need to mark. Okay, now listen. No need to mark the distance because it's a displacement versus time graph. No, since it is a displacement versus time graph, we don't need to mark the distance. Distance is not needed. Okay, now what are we going to do? Put the dots, come until 150, and done. Connect it. That's it. No distance versus time graph. We have only displacement versus time graph. Okay, did you feel easy to do that? Did you feel easy to do that? You have to first identify the value which is highest between the values. You need to understand. So you need to understand who has the highest displacement, 150. So in the 150 you has to be 150 has to be marked in the displacement part, and the timings you have to see from where to where increasing, from where to where not changing, from where to where decreasing. So by looking at that, I just marked. So that's the way you have to do the graph. Nothing is hard. This is the way. Okay, shall I give you one? Will you be able to do that? Okay. Those who told they didn't understand. Can you give a try? Can you give a try? Yes? Okay, I'll give you something. Okay. Quickly, you're going to do it with me. Quickly, you're going to do it with me. Let's say, for example, okay, I'll give you an idea, Farha. Okay, now let's say, for example, I'm going to use the same way. Say I have given you the time. Let's omit the distance because we don't need the distance right now. Let's use the displacement. Time, displacement, the way they give in your exam. So in your exam, they have given you like this. Okay, so they have given you 0 and 0 and then 10 seconds. Let's say you are starting from 20, then 20 seconds, then here 40, then let's say this is 30, again 40, Again 40 seconds. Let's say this is going to be 20 and this is 0. Can you draw the displacement versus time graph for this? Can you draw the displacement versus time graph for this? Everyone can give a try. Everyone give a try and say me. Because that's it you wanted to know in this. That's it you wanted to know in this. So you need to quickly know how to draw the graph. Quickly draw and let me know. In O levels, we should draw in pencil. But most of the time, they do not accept your answers if you have drawn with the pencil. Better to you draw with your pen. First, you can sketch it out with the pencil. Later, when you submit the paper, before that, you can draw with the pen. But pen is very important. If you have written your answers in pencil, they do not correct it. That's a rule, okay? Okay, did you give a try to that? Did you give a try? Okay. How did you draw? How did you draw? Okay, okay. Okay, some people are doing. I'll just mark this and keep, okay? Okay, done. Okay, now guys, now yeah, same like previous one only. Usually they will give like that only for you. You don't want to worry. They usually give in this way only. So this is the way they used to give it. So our people, what do they do is they make you complicated. No need to send. Just see whether your answer is correct. You see, 0 to 40. What is happening to the displacement? Displacement is increasing. Okay. Yes. From 40 to 40, what can you see? Displacement is not changing. From 40 to 0, displacement is decreasing. Always remember, whenever you are drawing a graph, there will be 3 points you have to focus. So now what do you need to understand? 0 to 40. Okay. So what is our maximum displacement that has been traveled? 40. So let me mark 40 over here. Done. I don't want to mark. Some people, they mark from 1, 2, 3. Waste of time. Don't go to do that. It's a mistake. They do not even look into that. So they just see what is your graph. That's it. So start from 0. From 0 to 20th second, displacement has been increasing. So 20. From 20 to 30 second, displacement has not been changed. From 30 to 50 seconds, displacement started decreasing. So what do we have to do? Just connect the points. Nothing else. Just connect the points. You are done. If you got this as your graph, your answer is correct. Yeah. Capital S is a displacement. The displacement has a symbol, no? The symbol for the displacement is capital S. Clear? And also, I wanted to inform, don't think I'm going very slow. The thing is, I don't want to hurry like others. I will like say, no time, let's go. Read the questions. I can't read like that and go because I want to give you 100%. So it's okay if it takes time. I will take another day and I'll help you. I'll do it, everything for you. So we'll go patiently. Doing something in a hurry won't be giving you 100%. So when we do in that, did you understand? When we go a bit slow, you will understand more than what others say. So this is how we learn physics. Okay, clear? How to do that? Now this is the way you draw the displacement versus time graph. Clear? Okay, right. Now let's go to the... Now let's see what question some people to draw the cumulative graph form. Pencil. You can draw and later you have to mark it with the pen because sometimes pencil won't be visible for them. I could remember one of my teachers, she informed us to not to use the pencil because sometimes it won't be visible. Like when you're doing calculation, if you're just doing sample things, you can do it. But in the final paper, you have to mark it with the pen. After you can draw with the pencil, on top of that, you trace it with the pen. That's it. Because you have to get the marks. I'm just giving you a tip. Okay? Right. Don't we have to mark the other places like 20 meter in 10 seconds? No need. We don't need to mark. It's waste of time because you're getting only 1 mark for this. So for 1 mark, do you want to put so much of effort? No, do smart working, not hard working. So hard work sometimes can be failed because you are too dumb enough. So if you do smart work, you can do it well. Why don't we write the value 10 and 40 in the graph? We don't need much. We don't need that to happen. It's not enough. I mean, like what do you say? They don't expect that if you know to draw the graph properly, that's enough. You're getting 1 mark, just 1 mark. So don't worry about it. Okay, right. Next one. Let's talk about velocity. When you talk about velocity, listen to the word. We say velocity means rate of change of displacement. Rate of change of displacement, we call that as what? Velocity. So whenever we say the word rate, remember any value that is getting divided by time, we call that as rate. Yes, still I am in that lesson only. So whenever we talk about rate of change of displacement, we call that as what? Are you teaching the paper or the unit? I am teaching you the unit wise. Then only we will do the paper. Without doing the lesson, we can't do it. I mean, like all the important lesson. Is velocity speed? No. Velocity is different, speed is different. Speed is easy. Speed, nothing else you have to remember. So speed is equals to distance divided by time. If you know this equation, that's enough. That's under this speed. But when it comes to velocity, I'll tell you what you have to remember under velocity. Remember, when you talk about velocity, rate of change of displacement, we know displacement is a vector quantity. It is a vector quantity, no? If the displacement is a vector quantity, what can you say about the velocity? What can you say about the velocity? Velocity also will be a vector quantity. Now say distance. Speed is equals to what? Rate of distance traveled in a unit time. We call it as speed. So now they have used the word distance. So distance here is a scalar quantity. If that is a scalar quantity, what can you say about the speed? What can be the quantity of the speed? Speed is going to be a scalar quantity. Did you understand how did I get the word? Now they can ask you, give some examples for vector quantity and scalar quantity. So you have speed is going to be a scalar quantity, distance is going to be a scalar quantity, velocity is going to be a vector quantity, displacement is going to be a vector quantity, because whatever the things that comes under displacement is going to be a vector quantity. Whatever the things that comes under displacement, so distance, that comes as what? Scalar quantity, right? Now, whenever we talk about velocity, rate of change, whenever they say the change means before and after. That means final displacement is subtracted by initial displacement. So what is the equation? Final displacement is getting subtracted by initial displacement divided by time. So S stands for displacement. S stands for displacement. F stands for final. So S stands for displacement. F stands for final. So here again displacement. I stands for what? Initial. It is similar to the acceleration. Remember, acceleration comes from the velocity, because you have to study another graph. I'll tell you what is that. So this lesson is little bigger, but I will break down into pieces and I'll give you an idea regarding that. Now listen, when you talk about velocity means what? Rate of change of displacement. That means what are we going to study? We are going to study about displacement changes. We are going to study about the changes of the displacement. So how are we going to study the changes of the displacement? We will be comparing our starting displacement and the final displacement. We will be dividing it by time. I will tell you how that is working. Now, let's say, for example, a car. Let's say, for example, a car moved at a displacement. Okay, let's say a car started from rest. Now, whenever they say the word rest, what is the starting value? What is the starting displacement? If they say a car started from rest, what do you need to understand? Very good. The starting value will be 0. The starting value will be 0. And let's say and moved at a displacement, I'll just write it here. Moved at a displacement of 20 meter in 10 seconds. 20 meter in 10 seconds. Now, how do we find the velocity? The question is, find the velocity of the car. Find the velocity of the car. How do we find the velocity? What is our equation? Final displacement subtracted by initial displacement. What is our final displacement? 20 meter. What is our initial? 0. Started, no? 0. Divided by 10. So, 20 minus 0 is 20. 20 divided by 10 is, answer is how much? Answer is 2 meters per second. Now, why did I take it as meters per second is displacement is getting divided by time. No? So, what is the unit you measure displacement? Meter. What is the unit you measure time? Seconds. Always the denominator will have a +1. But whenever you divide, you will get a final answer. No, the +1 will go on up. It will go up. What will happen? When the position of the operation changes to the other side, what you will get? If plus is here, if you take up, what will become? It will become -1. So that is the reason you get the velocity as this ms -1 as a unit you measure. So meters per second. Clear with that? Yes, Christina. Now we know velocity means what? Rate of change of displacement. I told you rate means what? Any values divided by time. Now what is the person who is getting divided? Displacement is the one who is getting divided by time. So we know displacement over time. Displacement over time. So what is the unit you measure displacement? Meter. What is the unit you measure time? Seconds. So always denominator will have +1. So if you take the +1 up, what will happen? If you take the operation plus operation to the other side, it will turn into minus. So that is how you have to remember. So ms -1. So ms -1 will be the measuring unit. Similar to the speed. Speed also will have ms -1 as a unit to measure. Clear with that? Understood that? Got the idea? Got the idea? How do you find the velocity? Right. Now let's talk about the chart. Now let's talk about the chart, and they will ask you to fill in the blanks with the velocity. Now say for example, let me use the same example. Initially, they will give you the time. They will give you the displacement. They will give you the displacement. How do we get meters per second? If the displacement is getting divided by time, what is the unit you measure displacement? Meter. What is the unit you measure time? Seconds. So always denominator will have a +1. So when we divide, you will get a final answer. No? That +1 will go up. The second +1 also will go up. Then what will happen? Meters per second. So plus only will be changing as minus. That's the answer. That's the unit you measure velocity, right? Now let's talk about the chart. How do they give the chart in order to get an idea? Now let's say, for example, they have given you the time, displacement, and all of them. Now what is happening? Say, for example, they have given you 0. Here everything is 0. Now they will ask you to fill in the blanks. So if they ask you to fill in the blanks, how would you fill it? Now say, for example, here time is 10, and then here 20, 30, 40, and then they have given you 50. And the same values I'm going to use. Here 100, 150, 150, and then here 100, and then 0. Now my question here is, can you find the velocity? Can you will it be, Nuha is asking me a question. Miss, will it be wrong if we write the symbol for the displacement S in our exam paper? You don't need to write S. And also they don't put wrong because it is common. Everyone knows. Even Cambridge syllabus also we use the same. In Cambridge also we have used the S. In my exam also I used S. So it doesn't matter. They do not tell you anything. No need of worrying about it. Okay? It won't be wrong because that is the truth. Okay? Right. Now, what is happening if they ask you to find, if they ask you to fill in the blanks? How would you fill it? How can you do the question? Listen to me. You have to take 2 points. Same chart. Using the same chart, I'm explaining you how to do the velocity. Now, see, look here. Now, I'm going to take 2 points. What are the 2 points? I'm going to take these 2 points in order to find this value. How can I find what is my equation? Final displacement subtracted by initial displacement divided by time. So what is my final displacement between these two? What is my final displacement? 100. What is my initial displacement? That is 0. Divided by, what is my time difference? Always subtract. 10 subtracted by 0, 10. So my difference in time also 10. So 100 is getting divided by 10. What's my answer? My answer is 10. My answer is what? 10. Okay. Now I have to fill this. If I want to fill this, what are the 2 points I have to select? I have to select these 2 points. I have to select these 2 points. So how can I write it? What is the final displacement? 150. What is my initial displacement? That's going to be 100 divided by 20 subtracted by 10. Now always remember, you can't take the value as 30. You have to subtract. 20 subtracted by 10 is my value. So now what is happening? 150 subtracted by 100 is going to be 50. 50 divided by 10 is going to be 5. It's going to be 5. Right. Now let's go to the other one. Other value. So if I want to find the other value, how can I find the other value? So 20 and 30 here. Now you are having the same 150. Again, you are having the 150 subtracted by 150 divided by 10. Guys, give me a second. Am I audible? Okay, right. You can't take the value as 20 because we have to subtract, no? We have to subtract the timings. Now see, I'm taking these two. 30 subtracted by 20 is 10. Again, 150 is 0. 0 divided by 10 is 0. Again from here, I have to take here. Take these two. If you take these two, 100 is going to be my final and my 150 is going to be my initial. 150 is going to be my initial. Divided by 10. 100 subtracted by 150. See, always remember the bigger value have to subtract the smaller value, but it is opposite. So when it is opposite, my answer will be minus 50 divided by 10. So minus 50 divided by 10 will be minus 5. Minus 5. Look at this one. I have to find the value for this one. So if I'm finding the value for this one, how will I find it? My starting value is 0. That means my final displacement is 0. My initial displacement is going to be 100 divided by 10. So what will be my answer again? 0 minus 100 will be minus 100 divided by 10 will be minus 10. So it will be what? Minus 10. Now what do you need to understand in this case is, what do you need to understand? Clear with that? Now initially we know from 0 to 150 displacement is increasing. What did we understand? From 0 to 150 displacement is increasing. From 150 to 150 displacement is not changing. From 150 to 0 we understood that displacement is decreasing. Displacement is decreasing. Guys, give me a second. Give me a minute, guys. Give me a minute. Okay. So now what did we understand is, you see, from 150 to 0, what is happening? Displacement is decreasing. Okay, now listen. Now what is happening is, when the displacement is increasing, what can you say about the velocity? When the displacement is increasing, what can you say about the velocity? The velocity is positive. Velocity is positive. When the displacement is not changing, when the displacement is not changing, what can you understand? When the object is at rest, what can you say about the velocity? Velocity is equals to 0. So whenever the velocity is equals to 0, what do you need to understand? So whenever the velocity is 0, you need to understand the object is not moving, it is at rest, and displacement is also not changing. Connection. When the displacement is decreasing, velocity is minus, velocity is negative. When the velocity is positive, displacement is increasing. When the velocity is 0, displacement is not changing. When the velocity is minus, the displacement is decreasing. Clear with that? I will tell you where this will be connected. I will tell you where will this connected. Clear with that? Got the idea? Got the idea? This lesson is big. I will finish this patiently. Don't worry. I won't be hurry. Okay, I won't be hurrying. I will do it patiently. Right? Can we do another example? Yeah, we can do. If I want to give you another example, you give a try. Yeah, you all will get the recording. I will give you an example. Give a try. Okay? No worries. Let's take the values as here. Let's take 20, 30, 30, 20, 0. Okay. Let me take the time as let's take here 0. Everything is going to be 0, right? Let's take over here as 2, 3. Now, if we take like that, usually they do not give in that way. However, they will give you in this way. Timings will be, let's take here 5, 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay, give a try. Give a try to this. If I keep my phone straight, you will see only half. So I have to move my this one. Okay, right now. Give a try to this. If they give a question, if they give question in this, how can we identify its velocity or displacement time graph? They will mention here. They will say this is a displacement versus time graph. This is related to the velocity. Always remember, whenever they give you displacement, you need to understand they can ask questions related to the velocity. Whenever they give you velocity, remember they can ask questions related to the acceleration, because displacement is connected to velocity. I'll tell you. Displacement is always connected to velocity. Velocity is connected with acceleration. So whenever they give you a question related to the displacement, they will come and ask regarding the velocity. Whenever they have given velocity, always they will ask the questions related to the acceleration. If you have noticed, you would know. So whenever displacement question given, remember it's about velocity. Whenever the velocity is given, it's about acceleration. I'll tell you what is acceleration afterwards, right? Okay, did you finish this? A little bit hard, you cannot calculate, but don't be hurry, okay? Don't take it serious. Just do it. You can do from here to here like this. To here to here. This one and this one. 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 Like that you can do. Yeah, Aisha. Yeah, I will give you the prayer break. What's the time? By 2? From 2 o'clock. From 2:45 I would give, because I have to give time for you to lunch, as well as you all have to take time for your prayers also, no? So altogether, I'll give 45 minutes, okay? Because I also have to do the same. Okay. Right. Some people will check what's the answer. We'll check what's the answer. Okay, look here. So from here to here, let me find. Here is also 0, no? Okay. I just guessed and gave you. This question is guessing. I didn't give from any papers. Just a guessing, okay? Since you asked me one, I just gave. Okay, let's see. Sometimes it might be inaccurate, but I will check. Okay, see. 0 to 5. So 20 is 20 minus 20. What is the final displacement from here to here? 20 minus 0 divided by 5. Here you will get the answer as 4, no? You will get the answer here as 4. From here to here, to find this value, how do you find it? What's the final displacement? 30 minus 20 divided by 10 minus 5, 5. So 30 minus 20 is 10. 10 divided by 5 is going to be 2. Okay. And then here, however, you will get here a 0. You will be receiving a 0. Then let's go to this part. From here to here. So if you are going from here to here, what will be the value? Did you get a 0 over here? Yeah, you should get a 0. Yeah, from here to here, 30 and 20. So 30 subtracted by... Okay. What did I do? Actually, I have done a small mistake, because I'm supposed to give here as 25 and I'm supposed to give you here as 30. 5 difference. No, I have to give. So I have to give here you has 15, 20, 25. Now give a try and see. Now give a try. You will get the value right now. If I give you 5 intervals, then definitely you will get the answers. Now you will get the answers, I guess. Just see one and double check, you will get it. Yes, got right. Okay, so you should have got like this. -2, -4. You should have got like that. -2 and -4. Means for the MCQs in the tune, where are the answers? No, we have to do it and we have to see. Okay, it's like your turn to do it by yourself. But the rest of them I have given, because for the MCQs I didn't have time to update with the answers. If I got time, I would definitely update with that. Okay, because of the power cut, I have to hurry with the work. Yeah. So what is the equation for the velocity? Final displacement subtracted by initial displacement divided by time. Okay, now since this is not an official question, we will just give a try to the previous one using our exam questions. Okay, so I hope you may have understood how to calculate it. So if you have got an idea how to calculate the velocity, just remember, if the displacement is increasing, velocity is positive. If the displacement is not changing, the velocity is equals to 0. If the displacement is decreasing, velocity is negative. If you know this, you can cope up with your answers. Right. Now let's go to the acceleration. Calculating velocity time graph is hard for me. It won't be hard when we do questions, but I will give a try. I'll give a try for the questions. Okay. After this lesson, we'll do some questions and see. Now listen. Let's talk about the acceleration. So when you talk about acceleration, we say it as rate of change of velocity. We call that as what? Acceleration. So rate of change of velocity, we call it as what? Acceleration. So whenever we say the word rate, we need to understand whatever the values that is getting divided by time, we call it as rate. Now who is getting divided by time? The velocity, the change of velocity. So which means, what is our equation? Change of velocity is getting divided by time. So what is the unit you measure velocity? Meters per second divided by time. It is divided by time. Plus 1. So when you take the plus 1 to up, you will get minus 1. So ms minus 1 minus 1, you will get ms minus 2. That's how you get the unit. Clear with that? So the meters per square will come under acceleration. So we know velocity is a vector quantity. Acceleration also will be a vector quantity. It is also will be a vector quantity. Clear? Right. Let me give you few questions related to the acceleration. Which one you want me to explain for her? The unit. How did I get the unit? Is it? I got the unit because velocity, what is the value of what is the unit you measure velocity? Meters per second, no? ms minus 1, right? Denominator, time, second. Second, like you have per second. So plus 1 is there. So when you divide, you will take it up. So when you take it up, what will happen? ms minus 1. The plus 1 will change into minus 1, no? So we can see minus 1 is an addition. Same sign will be added. That's what you are getting it as ms minus 2. So you may have learned in science, same signs are addition. No, you have to add same signs. Different signs, what you have to do? You have to do the subtraction. You don't need, velocity time graph won't be coming to your exam, so you don't worry about it. Okay, let me give you a question related to the acceleration. Because remember, this lesson, a small part only you will be getting. There are lots of lessons you have to focus on. So you need to understand this. Okay, now listen. Let me give you an example. Let's see whether you understand with the example. Now say for example, I am giving you an example. Say a car starting from rest. Let's say, I'll just say you. Okay, let's say a car starting from rest. So if I say a car starting from rest, moving at a velocity of 15 meters per second within 5 seconds. Find the acceleration. What is the acceleration? What is the acceleration? This is a simple question. A car is starting from rest, moving at a velocity of 15 meters per second within 5 seconds. So I told you change of velocity will be the equation for the acceleration. That means final velocity subtracted by initial velocity divided by time. Same like previous. What do you say? Final displacement subtracted by initial final displacement subtracted by initial displacement divided by time comes under velocity. No. Now we are talking about acceleration. Acceleration is talking about whom? It is talking about the velocity. Now, who is getting divided? Velocity. So, velocity changes. What are the changes you have to talk? Final velocity subtracted by initial velocity divided by time. Remember, V is there. No, the V is the symbol for final velocity. Okay. And U is going to be the initial velocity. U is going to be the initial velocity. I will give you the break exactly by 2. Okay. So, final velocity is getting subtracted by initial velocity divided by time. Now, if I ask you to find the acceleration, what is the acceleration? Your acceleration will be 15 minus 0 divided by 5. Why did I take it as 0? Because the car started from rest. That means the initial velocity is 0. The final velocity is 50. So, final velocity minus initial velocity divided by 5. So, 15 divided by 5, your answer is 3 meters per square. So, your answer square root should be there. Square should be there. Clear with that? So, now what has happened? From 0 to 15, velocity increased or decreased? From 0 to 15, velocity increased or decreased? Increased. From 0 to 15, velocity has been increased. If the velocity increase means we call that as acceleration. So whenever velocity increases, there will be an acceleration. Clear with that? What did we learn earlier? When the displacement increases, velocity is positive. When the displacement doesn't change, velocity is equal to 0. When the displacement decreases, velocity is negative. Yes, I will give the break. Now what happened? When the velocity increases, there will be an acceleration. A final. Yes, Christina, I told you that the equation for the acceleration is final velocity is subtracted by initial velocity divided by time. So they are saying that a car is starting from rest. Rest means what? There is no work. They are now only starting. So when they're starting means what? 0. And they are moving at a velocity of 15 itself. Within how many seconds? 5 seconds. So what is our equation? Final velocity. So what is our final velocity? 15. What is our initial velocity? 0. That is getting divided by what? 5. So 15 divided by 5, your answer is 3 meters per square. Did you understand? So that is the answer for the acceleration. A final thing. I'll give you before the break a final thing. Now listen, for example. Now I'll say, let's say for example, now a car moving with a velocity of 10 meters per second within, let's say, 2 seconds and came rest. Now what is the acceleration? What will be the acceleration? What will be the acceleration? So what is the final velocity? Our final velocity was, they said they came rest. So if it comes rest means our final velocity is 0. What is our initial velocity? They're saying car is moving with the velocity of 10 meters per second. Starting itself, they said this. So that's going to be 10 ms minus 1 divided by how many minutes? Sorry, how many seconds? 2 seconds. Minus 10 divided by 2. Your answer will be minus 5 meters per square. So this will be the answer. Now, what did you understand? Velocity 10, from 10 it came to 0. Velocity increased or decreased? Velocity increased or decreased? From 10 it came to 0. Velocity increased or decreased? Velocity decreased. If the velocity decreased, we call this as deceleration. We call this as what? Deceleration. So the value that you have found here is not acceleration. You found here is deceleration. Now what is our question? In our exam, they have asked you to find the acceleration. So if you want to give the answer as acceleration, the deceleration minus ms minus 2, that means 5 meters per square, has to be changed as positive plus 5 ms minus 2 to show acceleration has become, deceleration has become as the acceleration. Just to show your answer as acceleration, you have to change into positive. But if whenever you get the answer as minus, remember it is a deceleration. But whenever you are giving a final answer, you have to give the answer as positive. Got the idea? Got the idea? How to change means if you get minus 5 meters per square means you have to provide that answer. Along with that, you have to provide the positive answer also. Minus 5 ms minus 2. Okay. Plus 5 ms minus 2. This will be your final answer. Clear with that? Got the idea? Got the idea? So if you get the minus, you have to show it in plus also. Both. Yes, Shahid. For velocity, we should subtract. No, for the velocity, we should subtract final displacement minus initial displacement. Clear with that? Now, so far, what did we learn? So far, what did we learn? We learned about displacement. Remember, displacement, whenever we speak about displacement, velocity will be involved. Whenever there is velocity, remember there will be an acceleration. So whenever displacement is increasing, velocity will be positive. Whenever displacement is not changing, velocity will be zero. Velocity will be zero. Whenever displacement is decreasing, velocity will be minus. So when velocity is increasing, you will have acceleration. When velocity is decreasing, you will have a deceleration. Clear? Got it? Got the idea? Right. How, ma'am, to show its acceleration, you just write the number, and for the deceleration, write the negative side and the number. Yeah. Now say you got minus ms minus 2. No. So that's now in the question, find the acceleration. If they have given you the find the acceleration, remember you have to provide the answer. When if you get the answer as negative, in other way put a equal sign and show positive way. Both has to be there. It is when you get a minus, whenever you get a negative answer, you have to show like that. Whenever you get a positive answer, you don't need to do anything. This is a way you have to do that. You have to follow. It's completely fine, Suresh. Whatever, you get the answer negative, you have to show it as a positive. That's it. Clear? How to find the deceleration? If they said, now those who want to go and take the break, you all can go and take the break. Those who have doubts, you all can ask me. Okay. Now, those who have to find the deceleration, how to find the deceleration? Now, whenever they say a car is moving, they are saying the starting itself, they are saying that car is moving with a velocity. They are saying car is moving with a velocity of 10 meters per second. And came rest. They are saying came rest in 2 seconds. In 2 seconds. Now, starting itself, they said the car is already moving. It is already moving. So that will be the initial velocity. That will be the starting velocity. And then finally, they said it came rest. That will be the final velocity. So what is our equation to find the acceleration? To find the acceleration, we need to use the equation final velocity subtracted by initial velocity divided by time. So what is our final velocity? That is what we said came rest. No. So came rest means what? They stopped it. If they stopped means that's going to be 0. No. So you have 0, then minus u. So that means initial velocity is what? That's going to be 10. So that is going to get divided by 2. So your answer is minus 5 ms minus 2. That means 5 meters per square. So whenever you get the answer as negative, final answer you have to give it as a positive. You have to put a plus in front of that and you have to do it. Clear with that? Got the idea? If we make the answers positive, becomes deceleration. No? Yeah. Again, will the start class start? Yes. The class will be start by 2:45 because you all have to you all have to pray. At least I have to give 10 minutes for that. You all can take the lunch and come back by 2:45. By that time, I will fix with the YouTube live stream. Okay? Yeah, after the break, I will be restarting. We will do questions. Okay? Clear with that. But I have to see now, since now we had a power cut. Now I am having the power cut. So I have to check whether I have the power to do the class. I mean, you should know there will be connection problems, no? So I will be dropping a text in the WhatsApp channel. If not, just suggest me a time that you can come to the class. I mean, like you all have some classes. No, I know at the end of this month you all will have so many seminars. So I don't want that to be distracted. So before that, just let me know if you are joining again. Now I will update you now since we are having power cut. Sometimes I have to cancel. I mean, like I have to reschedule it. If I reschedule at night, I mean, not tonight, I mean, like any evening, like 6 to 12, like that, what is the time that you're okay? Are you okay with this kind of time? Or are you okay with the evening time? Like you will be more focused at this time or that time? Just let me know. Okay, okay, right. Not at evening. Okay. Both time are okay. This time. Okay, all of them are in the channel, no? So till now, I didn't get the power. I don't know at what time because every 3 hours, we will be having the power cut. So we need to know regarding that. I don't know what happened. So since we are facing power cut these days, we have to be like, yeah, we'll see. I'll drop a text in the. I'll drop a text. I'll drop a text to you in the channel. We'll see the majority. For those who are unable to join, don't worry, I will provide you the recording. Okay? Don't worry, I will help you to overcome all the challenges. Okay? It's just a kind of a thing that I'm giving to you because I have to help you out with the physics, all the competencies, right? Okay, so have a good day. Take care and see you back again. And teacher, can you explain the sign acceleration plus 0? That means how minus? That means acceleration is there. No? Now acceleration, rate of change of velocity. No? So whenever we say rate of change of velocity, rate means what? Any values divided by time. Now since we have power cut again, I mean like we are having a power cut again, I'll see an update because I have to see whether I can continue because power cut, sometimes your phone battery will be start draining. My also will be started draining because already I'm having a 20% of charge. So sometimes we have to reschedule it. No idea. No idea. We are back to the form. And remember, I think 2 years back we had the same issue, no? Power cuts and all those things. Start studying during the day, okay? Okay, should we leave and join again or should we stay in the class? Better you can leave. You guys can leave, okay? You all can leave. And then I will drop a text in the WhatsApp channel. You all can have a look whether we have the class or we are going to continue. If not, I will be providing the recording over here. And then those who wanted to have the class on another day, I will update you the time that I'm free. So select and update it, okay? Right. So have a good day. For those who ask me regarding the acceleration, I'm sorry. Okay. So rate of change of velocity. So velocity, what is the equation? Velocity is, what is the equation? Ms minus 1. And what is the time? Second plus 1. So that means second plus 1 means what? What do you understand? So whenever you divided, this plus 1 will go up as minus 1. No? So ms minus 1 minus 1. So minus and minus same side. Whenever in maths we see same side, they have to be added. So same sign will be added, ms minus 2. The sign will not change, but the operation you should take it as an addition. So ms minus 2, you get it as a symbol for the acceleration. Clear with that? Understood that? Got the idea? Right. Okay. So apart from that, some people ask me to explain regarding the electronics and all the stuff. No. So yeah, I will be doing all of them. Don't worry. Don't worry. I will be helping you to do everything. So just be patient. I will take within this week. We will finish it off. Within the week we will finish it off. So you can focus on your other subjects in the next class. I mean next week. So that's how we will be doing it. Yeah, we can get the bio recording. I think so tomorrow. I mean, like, yeah, tomorrow we have the biology, right? We have the biology. So biology, we can finish it off because biology is easily we can go. We don't have anything to go step by step, but we can tell you important things to be go on with the biology. And also, I will be providing some links to you to go through that, and you can have an idea. Okay. So I think tomorrow there won't be any power cut. Hope I pray I pray for the God, because yesterday I was fully excited to teach you chemistry because chemistry is one of my favorite. So because of that, I was really disappointed. We'll see. I'll help you out how much I can. Just trust me. I'm here for you to help. It's okay if others are not helping you. I'm here for you to help anytime. If you have any doubt, you can text me. I can help you out. Okay. So then have a good lunch, and I'll update you regarding that by 2:45 in the channel. Okay. No idea at what time the power will be back, right? So take care, guys. See you. And if I have confused you, just let me know. I will help you out because it's too hot over here. So sometimes yeah, it's really I feel what do you say, a bit faintish. Sometimes we will feel faintish because of the heat. So dehydration, everything together. Okay, so everything. See you guys. I will help you out. Take care. Bye bye. Thank you so much. Yes. This is the thing, Akbar. The small thing I have to tell you. Now, usually they will ask you the question, find the acceleration, or when you find the acceleration, you will get it as positive. Okay. Whenever they ask you the question as find the deceleration, you will get a negative answer. No, that negative answer you have to change into that means negative answer. It should be in your paper, and also you have to show the positive ones. That's it, Akbar. Nothing to do. They will not ask you any other questions than that. Clear with that. Break will finish by 2:45. Okay, because I'm giving to pray and all. I have to check with the power. I don't know what time the power will be back. No, so I have to see and update you. Okay. So I don't know about other places. Other places also say. Okay, so see you. The class over in the sense I have given break time. So I'm from Colombo. I have given break time for you all. So you all can have your lunch, pray, lohar, and come back. Okay. See you.